gathered here in pilgrims, full of questions, tired of the religious struggles around us and in our lives, seekers, offering gifts of praise when we have found what we seek. It is the warmth, peace, and strength of your love to seek in a world filled with harsh realities, some for our own fears, some for the fears of others. Help us, O God, to find you in ourselves and other people, and to accept the gift of your Son in our lives. May this Christmas be a blessed one with our hearts and eyes open to the needs of others. We pray, O God, for peace in our communities and in countries where there is war. We pray for an end to racism and the phobias that have sprung up in many places, as people fight each other over the scarce of their jobs. Pray for our brothers and sisters at South Burnaby United Church, and for your guidance of our own leaders as we build a relationship together in your name. Gracious God, we at West Burnaby United Church are one of thousands of Christian congregations bringing to you today with praise and humility for the strength to show the world the real meaning of Christmas, not only in our lives, but for everyone in this world. Help us to accept the people of their faith bringing to you as well, and that in their hearts have the same desires as we have. For it is only through you and us that there will be lasting peace in this world. Pray for our friends who are not with us today. May those who are not well be your loving hands upon them, and those who are traveling be aware of your presence also. And now we sing the Lord's Prayer.
Then Joshua rose early in the morning, and they set out from Acacia Grove and came to the Jordan. He and all the children of Israel lodged there before they crossed over. So it was after 3 days that the officers went through the camp, and they commanded the people, saying, when you seek the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests, the Levites, bearing it, then you shall set out from your place and go after it. Yet there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. Do not come near it, that you may know the way by which you must go, for you have not passed this way before. And Joshua said to the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. Then Joshua spoke to the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and cross over before the people. So they went up So they went up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. The word from the Gospels, Luke chapter 6, verses 27 to 36. But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who spitefully use you. To him who strikes you on one cheek, offer the other also. From him who takes away your cloak, do not withhold your tunic either. Give to everyone who asks of you, and from him who takes away your goods, do not ask them back. And just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise. But if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even the sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even the sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you hope to receive back, what credit is that to you? For even sinners lend to the sinners to receive as much back. But love your enemies, do good and lend, hoping for nothing in return, and your reward will be great, and you will be the sons of the Most High. For he is kind to the unthankful and evil. Therefore be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
Thanks be to God.
Let's sing, I am the light of the world. Voices United, 87.
Thank you.
So it's almost December 25th, Christmas Day, celebrating the birth of Jesus. The question this morning is, was Jesus really born on December 25th? Sure. No. Most scholars and theologians are expecting that Jesus was more or less born in the month of April, more or less in the year 422 before Christ, before the modern counting of the year started. And they based that on relative studies and weather and patterns and year dates and how old he was when he died on the cross and who reigned, Augustus, and all of these different things, and they came to that conclusion that more or less Jesus was born in the month of April. So why do we celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December? And I think the story I'm going to tell you now will hopefully surprise you, and otherwise, and hopefully not scare you off and take you to the road running away. There was a festival in the early Roman Empire before Jesus was born, long before him. It came from the pagan religions. And as the Roman Empire stretched out over the known world in those days, they incorporated all these different festivals from the pagan religions, from the pagan people that joined the Roman Empire after they've been conquered by the Romans. And to create unity within this empire was quite a difficult task that the Roman emperor had. So they decided to incorporate rather than exclude. So one of these important festivals was incorporated to pull in all the pagan people that followed this festival and that grew up in that culture. And that festival was called the Festival of Saturn, or Saturnalia, and it was called after the planet of Saturn. And you will remember, we spoke about this earlier, that the planet of Saturn was seen as the god of agriculture, prosperity, and fertility. So during 7 days in the month of December, they had this festival, the Festival of Saturn. And it was quite an interesting festival. First of all the courts in the Roman Empire closed down. So there was, to say, no law and order. Nobody would have been prosecuted for anything they have done. Burning things down, stealing things. You had carte blanche, you could do whatever you like. For 7 days. It started on December the 17th, and then this festival ended on December 25th. And what they also did is they took one person from every community, and they indulged that person into food and sexual misbehavior. And at the end of this festival, on the 7th day, they killed that person as a contribution towards the Lord of Darkness. And by doing that, they gave an offering so that the sun can be reborn. Today we believe, and we see it when the telescopes look back at Earth from whatever carries them out there in space, that took pictures. And we see actually that Galileo Galilei was quite right. The Earth is round. It revolves around its own axis, but it's tilted a bit. But above that, this Earth is also on its own orbit, orbiting the sun. And because of that, it creates the 4 seasons that we have, and it creates day and night. Plain geometry. You with me with that? You believe all of that, hopefully. But in the days of these festivals, they didn't believe that. It was years and years before Galileo Galilei. At that stage, they still believed the Earth is flat. The sun is born every morning, and the sun dies in the evening. And then something strange happened. Being people living in the northern hemisphere, in the northern countries, where Norway and Sweden and Finland is today, the sun died over December because it went away. Days shorter, nights longer. And then roughly on December 21st, they realized the sun was born again and returned till midsummer in June 21st. We call it the sun solstice. So during this winter solstice of the sun, today we know it's just the axis of the earth that's tilted that creates this. But in those days, the belief was that the Son actually died and should be reborn. And it will be reborn when they pay this offering by killing this innocent person, one of each community. So this was happening in the festival of Saturn. And then the Roman Empire in the year 324 became a Christian empire. When Caesar Constantine decided this will be a good tool to unite this whole empire that was busy falling apart. And to create a festival during December, they had this festival of Saturn, but surely the Christians couldn't go and say, well, take an innocent person from the community, misuse that person, and after the 7 days, just kill him. And you have carte blanche, you can do whatever you want, no one will persecute you for those 7 days, and after that, we all turn back to normal, and we are normal Christian people again. That didn't work. So what did they do? What did they do? They took the same festival, and they said, it's not the birth of the sun anymore, but the birth of the Son. The one is with the U, and the other one is with the O. My accent is not too bad. So instead of saying the Son died and is reborn to come back for the harvests and the planting and the plants to grow and the days to grow longer, they said the Son of God died. And he was reborn, and his birth was started to being celebrated on December 25th. And by doing that, the Roman Empire brought in the Christian tradition and religion. They Christianized the festival of Saturn, and they kept a lot of these symbols of that specific festival. During this time, especially the English bakeries and the German bakeries bake a special little biscuit, and it's in the form of a man. And you call it, I think, the gingerbread man. This is a Saturn tradition. So when they killed that innocent person, all of them ate biscuits baked in the form of a man, part of that ceremony. And we still do it today, the gingerbread man. So you actually have a festival of Saturn when you do that. Quite funny. There are different other things they also did. They went naked through the streets and sang songs of the festival to the different houses. I'm so glad you're not doing that anymore. Not for going naked, but goodness, in this weather, you will just freeze. But still today, we have the celebration of Christmas, singing Christmas carols and going through the streets. They got intoxicated by all the eating and drinking. And when you read that in the Festival of Saturn, you would say, well, that's Christmas. That's the way we do it. All of us is going to be on a diet on the 1st of January after the Christmas season. Because we just eat these wonderful foods and drink these wonderful wines and stuff that we have to celebrate this season. But the Roman Empire tried to Christianize it, to make it part of the empire, to make it part of the religion of Christianity of that day, which was the state religion. And by doing that, they won over the Christian people and the pagans. Now they had one religion, everybody could partake in. And we have that till this day. So that's where our Christmas festivals come from. In Africa, where we come from, and in our country, in South Africa, we have a place called the Kruger National Park. You all know about that. That's huge. It's a big game reserve bordering Mozambique on the eastern side, to the north Zimbabwe, and to the south Swaziland. And it was proclaimed as a game reserve in the year 1898 by President Paul Kruger, the president of one of the Boer republics that was called the Republic of South Africa or South Africa. And just a year after the proclamation of this game reserve, the Second Anglo-Boer War was at hand, and after the British took over, they kept the Kruger National Park as one of the biggest parks in Africa and the biggest one in South Africa, roughly the size, I would say, of Vancouver Island. There's a lot of rivers running from the western parts of South Africa through the Kruger National Park to the Indian Ocean. And it carries the water from the Drakensberg escarpment through this vast area of wildlife. It's one of the rare parks that you find all five, the big five animals. You know the big five, it's the elephant, the lion, the buffalo, rhinoceros, and one of the leopards, I think. That's the big five. And all of those five you can find in their natural habitat in the Kruger National Park. Now this is an advert for South Africa and the Kruger National Park, so if you don't go there, it's your own fault. But the beauty of this area is that it's kept as it was for millennia of years. But during the winter time something happens. Most of the smaller rivers dries up. And in every area there's water holes that is quite deep and keeps their water throughout the winter time. It doesn't rain in winter in the Kruger National Park. And all these animals, and there's thousands of them, and when you sit at one of those water holes, you see this. All these animals early morning come down to drink water, and then they go out. And late afternoon they return. And you can just imagine around those water holes, they trample the earth to a fine dust. And that dust doesn't settle, it goes up in the air. And that's why you have these beautiful sunsets in Africa. The sun goes down and you have the dust in the sky, and it turns into a red ball. You can look at the sun from 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the winter time. It's just hanging there, this big red ball. And then it disappears over the horizon. And the animals come into this water hole. The tall giraffe has to bend down and drink water. The mighty lion come and drink water. The birds wash their feathers in the shallow water around the water hole. Everybody's there. The baboons. And there's kind of a peace around the water hole. You know, because everybody needs to quench their thirst. But as soon as they go out, then it's everyone for itself. You know, the lion will get the antelope or the buffalo, and the elephants will trample the lion. So it's you're on your own when you leave the water. And these water holes are the breath of life. You know, every animal needs water. Although they eat grass and leaves and eat each other, they need the water to sustain life. And when I sit and think about that, and I see that whole thing play itself, every morning, every afternoon, this happens. Africa come and unite around the water. I thought, what a beautiful parable, what a beautiful picture about what's happening here with us. We need the water of life, and we come together. And this is a place where we are all the same. It doesn't matter if you are tall or short, if you're a doctor or just a normal person. Not the doctors aren't or who you are. This is kind of a place that we are just us. It's just me. And I'm thirsty. And I come and drink of the water of life. Paul wrote in his letter to the Corinthians, the 1 Corinthians chapter 12, he said something about himself. He led us into his own personal life. He said, you know, I'm Paul and I'm this apostle and I carry the message of the gospel throughout the known world into Asia Minor and all these other countries. Turkey today, Syria, Lebanon, even as far as Greece. And yet, after my epiphany that I had on the Damascus Road, the light that shone within Paul and woke him up to his calling and his destiny, you read him sitting in front of God in 1 Corinthians 12 saying, despite all of this, I still have a thorn in my flesh. He calls it an angel of darkness, hitting him with a fist in his side. And he says, 3 times I asked the Lord to take this away from me. And he didn't. But what did he tell Paul? My grace is enough. That's all you need. It's my grace. And within your weakness, becoming a Christian solves all the problems. You just pray and everything will be okay. And then when we get back home, we still people. We still people with problems, even during Christmas. Graham, my friend that's a minister in Queen's Avenue in New Westminster, said the other day, they have the Blue Christmas service, which you know about. It's a Christmas service that's blue because the people attending that is blue. They're not happy. Christmas is not a good time for them for various reasons, for various thorns in their sides. And here we are, and some of us are joyful and happy and peaceful, and others are mourning the death of a beloved this afternoon. So we are all on different journeys, and we have these different stations, as we spoke about them when we spoke about the conference of the birds. These different stations that we go through. And sometimes we feel, this doesn't make sense. I'm supposed to become better and bigger and growing into my soul and getting more knowledge, and there's still this thing getting me, basically. The passage that we read this morning about from the book of Joshua is where the Israelites are camping on the west bank, which is almost every day in the news these days. And they were ready to cross the Jordan River and to take the land as their promised possession. And then Joshua told them, keep the eye on the covenant, the ark of the covenant. And if you keep your eye on that and you follow that, this land will be ours. They had something to look out for, a physical thing, this ark that they carried with them through the desert years. And Joshua said, if you keep your eye on that, you will see God, because He's always been with us. And that will carry you into this land, and then you will be okay. And they did that, and they conquered the country. And today, the Palestinians are a thorn in the flesh of the Israelites, and the Israelites are a thorn in the flesh of the whole Middle East, and it's just a boiling pot of chaos and war and hate. And then I think, you know, if all of us could just keep our eye on something, if it's the water roll, or if it's the Ark of the Covenant, or if it's the life of Jesus, the life of Buddha, or the life of Krishna, if we could keep our eye on something bigger than us, to inspire us, because in that, something bigger than us, I believe, is the power of God. Because God told Paul and said to him, I will not take the thorn out of your flesh, because in your weakness, you can see the power that's in you, God within you. And in our weakness, we can see the power of God within us. Because then it's not me and I, the big man and the big woman, but then it's just breath and life. And we realize we are all equal, we are all the same. They tried to make all the people in the Roman Empire equal. And they used the festival of Saturn, that we call Christmas today, as an equalizer. They say, it doesn't matter if you're pagan or if you're a Christian, come together around this festival. We take away the bad things and we bring in some good things and we make it a beautiful festival. A festival of joy and hope and happiness. And if we could keep that and keep our eye on that, something bigger than the Christmas tree and the presents and the consumerism and the intoxication and the nakedness, everything around it, and we could keep the beauty, there's something bigger. Those 4 candles that we've lit, the love, hope, peace, and joy, that represents the love, hope, and peace of joy of God with us. Then we understand these words when He said, grace. That's enough. And when the time will come, when we will show each other grace, the way Jesus did it in His life, He showed everyone grace. It didn't matter who you were. You were a Pharisee or a Sadducee, or who you were, He showed grace. And if Christmas can become a time of that, then we show that something bigger to each other, then it's worthwhile. Then we have something to look at. And within our weakness, we can see the power of that. So to me, it doesn't matter if Christmas comes from pagans and the festival of Saturn, the planet, as a mischievous or a mystery god, and where Christmas Day comes from. But what matters to me is what do we do with it? What do we do with our lives during this time of year? How do we celebrate this? How do we have this festivities not together, only together around in this water hole or in this space or sanctuary or church, but how do we take it out there to make Christmas a wonderful time for everybody? So may your Christmas this year be a Christmas of grace, and may you keep your thorns in your flesh, so that in your weakness the power of something bigger than us will be shown, and in your weakness that you will carry the joy, the love, the peace, and the hope of God with you, and you will celebrate a life that we call Jesus, but above all, a change in our lives that we call Christ. We say, or North Americans say, Happy Holidays, but I still believe in Merry Christmas. May you have a Merry Christmas, a graceful time, a time full of love and happiness. When John plays this next song, let's use it as a silent prayer, where we pray that the whole of this earth will have something bigger to look at, and that that bigger power will be in all of our lives, the power of love. Hymn of response, my love colors outside the lines. Your voices, 1, 3, 8. Lovely light song, so come on. My love colors outside the lines.
We
this morning the words of God Paul already said. He didn't say that. The words of God to Paul already said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness." And in the words of Jesus, "Do unto men the same way that you want them to do unto you." May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may you be held in the palm of God's hand. Amen. So let us conclude. Voices United 639, one more step along the way we go.